Happy Thursday, everyone! Ako, alam na natin yan. Kapag Thursday, it's real Camille Day and we're so happy to be here with you guys. And excited kami ni GK!
Hello, everybody. Episode 7! Here we go! Lucky 7!
Yes, it is!
Saktong-sakto. Tsaka excited din ako today. Particularly on this day, kasi nga end of the month.
Diba? Alam mo
Sahod!
yan!
Ayan, payday, no? For our
Yes.
working professionals, young adults natin dyan, mga millennials natin.
Correct.
At sumakto pa yung ating pag-uusapan.
Tama! Diba? Alam mo, I'm really looking forward to this kasi alam ko maraming interesadong malaman kung ano ba ang tungkol sa topic natin for today, diba?
Yes.
And aside from that, syempre, this episode wouldn't be complete without our dear viewers, without GK here, who makes everything brighter every Thursday, diba?
Bright na bright nga talaga tayo today.
Always matching
Gusto ko
kami
yun.
nito ni GK. And it's always accidental, guys. Just so you know, we don't
Yes.
plan our outfits, but whenever we see each other, we're like,
Nagugulat na lang din kami.
Yeah.
Alright. At sana kayo din, no? Always a pleasant surprise. Ang ating mga Thursday episodes for you with Camille Pratsiambao, of course. Lalo na ang ating mga community, di ba? Sa Facebook natin at sa TikTok. I did mention it's gonna be an interesting topic today.
It is.
So we'd love actually for you to be very active also. Pwede kayong mag-share, pwede kayong magtanong. Di ba kung meron kayong mga follow-up to the questions we will be raising, no? Lalo na sa ating guests. No?
that's true. Ang topic natin for today's episode is taking your career to the next level. Ngayon, sino bang hindi may gustong mangyari ito sa kanila?
Correct.
Diba? Who doesn't want to take their careers on to the next level? Para din, parang for me kasi, kaya ako na-excite, GK, is because whenever we choose a career path, doon na natin binubuhos lahat ng buhay natin, yung
Yeah.
efforts natin, you know, ang dami nating inaaral, ginagawa to be able to get to that. Pero paano kung hindi pala yun yung para sa atin?
Yeah.
Diba? Then ang dami nating nasasayang pala na panahon, na efforts and heartbreaks.
Right.
Because when you're not aligned kung saan ka talaga dapat nandoon, ibig sabihin nun, mas maraming failures.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you get disheartened.
Yeah.
And then parang nawawalan ka na ng gana. Tapos ayaw mo na.
Yeah.
Nag-withdraw ka na. Tapos the next thing you know, complacent ka na, okay na ako ng ganito na lang.
Yeah. And while failure is fine and it is important, of course, I think maganda din na napag-uusapan natin if there are actually practical and talagang concrete na ways to prepare for it.
Yes.
Diba? Para at least to some extent, parang na-ensure din natin na kapag pumili na tayo ng path, ng career natin, diba? At least hindi masasayang yung oras natin. No? Ang saya na meron tayong coach today. Diba?
Yes.
There are so many different kinds of coaches.
That's
Actually,
true.
diba? May fitness coach, merong ano
May
pa ba?
life coach.
Life coach, finance coach.
Oo, sports coach.
Sports coach, ang dami,
Oo.
di ba? But usually, pag naiisip natin about careers natin, syempre yung mentoring na nangyayari is either from school,
Yes.
or kapag nakakapasok na tayo sa mga companies natin,
Right.
diba? Yung
Or
managers
you know, actually, it's
natin.
not even that, GK. Sometimes it's just because your parents told you to take this
Yun
course.
pa, oo.
Whether you like it or not, ito ang aralin mo, di ba?
Which is
Sila yung-
unfortunate for some.
Yes, but you know, I mean, there's good intentions there, of course, but is it the best for us?
Yes.
Diba? So today we have a special guest who will guide us on our topic. She's an award-winning ICF PCC credentiated global executive coach and team coach who has been in the industry for over a decade. So here to join us today is Coach Anda del Rosario. Everyone, let's give her a warm welcome. Hi,
Yay!
Coach
Hi,
Anda.
Coach.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're so
Yes.
happy and excited to have you. Hindi pa kami nagsa-start kanina, inaawat na kami nila Yana kasi super chika na talaga kami. So eto na, at least join na natin ang ating mga viewers for today's chika. So sulitin nyo na while Coach is here to give you an expert advice. Ask away, guys. Magtanong na kayo ng mga anything that you want to ask about your career. Siguro, meron kayong gustong simulan na negosyo.
Yeah.
Meron kayong gustong aralin na bagong, na something that you are passionate about. Tanong nyo na kay Coach Anda kung ano ba yung mga practical ways for you to be able to get there.
Yes. Nako, in 2024, I think it's a very important topic. Diba? So many things about our career, no? Yung mga path na tinitakes natin have changed. Lalo na nung dinaanan natin yung 2020. Ayan, di ba, nung nagkaroon tayo nung time at home para mag-isip, di ba, and recalibrate actually our life. Ayan, so ngayon, si Coach Anda, di ba, ay nandito para tulungan tayo to give us some advice. Maybe we can move in a little bit closer.
Kailangan close talaga tayong
Oo.
lahat dito.
Close enough?
Yes!
Ayan. At
So we can fit into our small screens.
Yes!
Ayan.
At maging close na rin kayo with us today. Di ba?
Yes.
Pwede po kayong magtanong anytime. You can take it from our discussion or from your personal experiences.
Yes, that's right. So let's start off with moments off cam. Okay, so for the benefit of those who are not familiar what an executive and team coach is, can you share with us, Coach Anda, in general overview talaga on what you do?
Yeah, so what I do is I focus on helping leaders and teams and organizations. So if you're thinking, you mentioned earlier that there are different kinds of coaching, right?
Yes.
So if you look at what I do, it's really on performance. It's based on the goals of the organization, and it's doing one-on-one coaching with the top leaders in organizations. And then you know that all leaders have teams.
Yes.
So like in sports, you have a winning sports team. So in coaching and leadership coaching, I do that with their teams as well. So I also do customized coaching programs for their team for a period of 8 months to a year.
Matagal na
Wow.
proseso
Matagal,
din
yes.
pala siya, Coach.
Yeah, it's a long
Okay.
process because you want to be able to change people's mindsets and
Right.
behaviors, and for them to be able to achieve their goals, you want to be able to work on how they see themselves, how they see their teams,
Yeah.
and how they
relate
yeah,
to
they
each other.
relate to each other is important, and how they achieve the goals together.
And hopefully right before they take on leadership roles as
That's
well.
right.
no,
So
in
it's
their
not an
organizations.
overnight process. It
Correct.
takes some time.
Yeah.
Galing! I'm so amazed by this concept kasi bago siya sa pandinig ko.
Yeah.
Diba? Because parang sa paniniwala ko, you have a job, you enter a company, bahala na kung anong mangyari,
At
diba?
saka depende din sa kultura ng mga
Yes.
companies natin. There are ways to make it better, and I think ito yung makukuha natin na insight from
And I'm pretty
Coach
sure there's
Anda
also
today.
this is also backed up with a lot of research,
Yes.
with a lot of pag-aaral na alam natin na nagwo-work talaga because it has been tried and tested.
That is
And
correct.
it's amazing for me kasi siguro dahil we have a business and technically we also manage people. So parang ang laking importance nun sa akin because that's where some problems happen in the company. Yung mga maliliit na conflicts at problema within the employees na hindi mo nare-realize, nagsisimula ng maliit tapos nagiging malaki na pala.
Actually, those small things, those small problems,
Right.
can actually can have a big impact to the company, to the organization. That's why you have to have the right leaders and the right team in place.
Important na ready, di ba,
Oo,
ang mga
and ready
leaders
also.
natin.
Yeah.
Marami ding nakaka-relate sa atin, Coach and
Okay,
Camille.
let's
Kahit sa
check.
YouTube, meron mga nagsasabi.
I'm gonna go to YouTube, you go to Facebook.
Sige. Ay, sige.
Or baliktad ba tayo?
Baliktad tayo.
Ah, sige.
I have Charlie Angel. Ayan, saying, hi, Camille and GK. Very timely daw ang episode natin today. And then La Chica Sunshine is watching from Hong Kong. Wow, always looking forward to this show every Thursday. So informative and entertaining at the same time. Thank you! Ayan, sa pagsama sa atin palagi dito sa Real Camille. Ayan, exciting, no? Ayan, and syempre, siguro parang a glimpse na rin ito ng mga, siguro po, sessions na ginagawa ni
That's
Coach
right.
Anda. Oo, doon sa mga organizations that she gets to work with. Kasama din po ba doon yung individual? Ayan, na pag-discover, of course, ng the leader in you.
Yes.
That's
Diba?
true. Yeah,
Oo.
I like how you said that because that's the kind of coaching I do. I help you find your anchor as a team, as a leader. And about this crazy world, sometimes you don't feel that anchor, and it helps you
Yes.
really find yourself and make the right decisions in
Yeah.
everything that you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
especially in a professional setting na sometimes, di ba, medyo mas transactional. There's not
Yeah.
really yung
Relationship.
yes, correct.
Yeah,
Hindi
yeah.
masyadong ganun
Yes.
yung ating kumbaga mindset about it, no? Kailangan, lalo dito sa Pilipinas,
Yeah, yeah.
maghanap ka ng trabaho, if it's something that you like to do, di ba, kung ano yung magaling ka, yung course na tinapos mo, and then goods na yun, okay na yun.
Yes.
Di ba? Pero there's growth to it, there's lessons, di ba? And it's a 360-degree thing.
It is.
Yes.
Okay,
Diba?
so let's start with medyo easy questions muna for Coach Anda. And for us too, no?
Sige, sige.
So what is the difference between a boss and a leader?
Ooh.
Yeah. So for me, a boss is someone who dictates to people and tells people what to do.
Yeah.
But if
Okay.
you think about leadership, in the word leader itself, you're leading a team. You're leading a group of people. So if you're a good leader, you have to be able to influence them. You have to be
Okay.
able to set a good example. You have to find ways to motivate them, to guide them, and to have even coaching conversations with them. So a lot of times when I coach leaders, because the environment is very busy, it becomes very transactional. That we have to hit these goals, we have to do this and that, but forgetting that I am a leader and I'm leading the team. And the greatest strength of a company is the people.
Yes.
So if you just rely on the leader, then parang you're just working as an individual contributor, right? So but leaders are put in place to lead people. So for those leaders out there, it's good to remember that you have to be able to work with your people. You have to find ways to motivate them, and you have to find also ways to be able to address their gaps or their challenges. And the only way to do that is to get to know them better and to be able to find ways to work with their gaps and maximize their strengths.
Rooms for
as a leader.
improvement.
Yeah, it's really all about people. Just remember, that's a big difference. Being a leader is really working with your people instead of the other one, the boss is just dictating to them what to do.
Yun.
Yeah.
Actually, kasi yun yung parang common connotation kapag sinabi natin na boss eh. Palautos. Sorry na sa
Bossing
mga boss.
around, yes.
Yeah, but that's kind of what the word means, diba? It's just to really give orders, diba? Parang authority sila, they give orders. And leadership is entirely different because when you lead people, one of the things that I've learned is that you have to model also what you lead them into. Kasi you can't lead people if hindi din nila nakikita sa'yo kung ano yung gusto mong ipagawa sa kanila. Na parang, paano kanila susundin if they don't see in you the qualities that a leader should possess na inspiring or someone na ka-look up. Diba? I think your people at least or yung mga tao na nillead mo, you should be aspirational to them. In order for them to actually be led by you. So, yun yung nakikita kong difference ng boss and a true leader talaga.
Ako naman, Coach, parang from your sharing, ang parang nat-take away ko na parang difference nilang dalawa. Kapag, when we mention kasi leader, parang you lead them to go somewhere.
Yes.
May pinupuntahan yung team ninyo. And of course, it matters kapag you know what your team can do, each and individual
Right.
member.
You know
anong
their
mga
strengths,
kailangan
their
i-improve.
weaknesses.
While pag sa boss naman, it's usually more static. No? You're there in that one place, nagko-command lang, di ba? And then you're in your own little bubble. And nothing's really happening there. Kung
At
utos
saka
lang
parang
naman ang
parang
utos.
you're all on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you are to do. This is your quota, example, this is your task.
Right.
Get it done no matter how you want to get it done. Basta magawa nyo siya.
I want to say also during the pandemic, that a lot of people have realized the importance of people. So you see there's a lot of well-being programs in the companies right now, right? They care more about people because there's a lot of also mental health issues going on. So I love that, that shift. That's why there are more people like me who are needed in organizations and coaching because they see the importance of people.
Yeah.
Taking care of their people.
Personal.
Coach Anda, ito naman. Ano ba yung mga tamang mindset na dapat meron ang mga tao for them to become successful? Like, give us probably 3 mindsets na dapat meron sila at kung ano naman yung dapat natanggalin nila.
Okay. So one is change is constant.
Okay?
So sometimes we keep forgetting that. We want to change. But there's certain things about the things around you that you can't change anymore.
Right.
So usually the question I ask people or the leaders that I coach is, what is one thing that you need to accept about your situation right now?
I love
Or
that.
what are some of the things that you need to let go that's not working for you anymore in this current situation that you're in? Because a lot of times people don't realize that you need to be able to let go of certain things. And then another one is it's from a famous coach. His name is Marshall Goldsmith. So he said that what got you here won't get you there. Yeah. So think about that. What got you here won't get you there. So what I like about it is that what made you successful yesterday may not make you successful today and tomorrow. So again, you have to ever evolve. Yeah, you have to always think about what do I need to change, what do I need to do differently today and tomorrow
always
to be more successful.
Made up, kumbaga, it's always adjusting and adapting to things.
Iba't-ibang kwento siya everyday.
Yes.
Iba't-ibang goal ka din araw-araw.
Yes, because everything is changing around you. You're changing also, and not
Yes.
realizing that. So there has to be that moment of reflection and reflecting on how am I doing, where am I now, where do I need to be next month, next year, three years from now.
Is goal setting important,
Goal
Coach Anda?
setting is very important as a leader. You have to be able to have that vision. You have to know where you're going. But sometimes leaders also not clear on how to make that goal, or they're making their own
Or
wrong
even
goals
as a
also.
person.
Yeah.
Like, di ba most people now, yung goals nila short term lang, short-lived lang. Kunwari, just for this week, I just plan to survive. But we have to be more detailed than that. If we want to get somewhere, kailangan may pagpaplano din. Or nafo-foresee mo din na, nasaan kaya ako 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now.
Yeah. Ito din yung sinasabi nila na libre ang mangarap.
Yes.
Diba? Oo, and of course, ever since naman kahit nung bata pa tayo, in-encourage tayo na mag-dream big, di ba? Oo, but I feel like isa sa mga nag-trend din na insights, no, 2023 and up to ngayon, is that itong mga bagay can change. No? Parang at your young age, parang ito yung ideal ko na talagang mangyayari sa buhay ko. Ito yung leadership role na iti-take on ko by the time I'm 25 or something like
Right.
that. But then you get to 25 and realize na, I think I want a different thing.
Yes.
So I think-
So what do we do?
Yeah, tama yung
Yeah.
sinabi ni Coach na embrace yung change na yun.
Yes.
What got you here won't get you there.
Correct.
Actually,
I love that.
the third one I just want to say is you have to be able to be uncomfortable with the things that are uncomfortable, and that's what makes you grow. So a lot of the times kasi we avoid what's uncomfortable for us, right?
That's
Yeah.
and siguro mas easier to, we don't want to leave our comfort zone.
And it's really actually not our comfort zone. A lot of times we think it's our comfort zone,
But it's not.
it's not. It's not making us comfortable. We're just
Stagnant.
Stagnant. We're just we're adjusting to it, but it's actually
Or nagsisettle
sacrificing
na
other
lang tayo
things.
doon.
Yeah,
Pwede
ganon.
na to.
Andun na,
Yeah,
kumpiyansa
oo.
ka
Pero
na
sa
dun.
pero sa isip mo, hindi may gusto pa ako pero hirap
Pwede na
nun.
to.
Okay na
Oo.
ako dito.
Yeah, exactly.
Struggle pa ako dyan.
Oo.
Diba?
Grabing villain yung pwede na to.
Yes.
Such a villain in our
Dangerous.
lives.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
And you have something for us, GK.
Ayan. Meron akong special surprise dito. Okay, kunin ko muna.
Ooh.
Ayan, habang lumalalim
Ito ang
itong
mga
ating
pasabog
discussion.
ni GK.
Oo.
So, pakalmahin muna natin yung discussion.
Oo, kasi baka kinakabahan na yung mga boss na nanonood din sa atin.
Oo. But I'm pretty sure there's so many takeaways. Like ako, I'm so excited, Coach Anda, because we're leading a school and I look forward to learning also na parang how best I can be effective in leading them, or actually, in our workplace. Kung paano lang magiging effective, efficient, at masaya. Yun lang
Yeah.
naman ang goal.
On the daily.
On a
diba?
daily
Gandang
basis,
gem no, na
yes.
what got you
Here won't get you there.
won't get you there to the next phase. Alright.
I love
But
that.
it did get us to the fishbowl.
Yes.
Ayan. At meron tayong fun, light, easy questions lang ito, Coach. No, pinapauna namin, of course, ang guest.
Yes.
Oh my
Go
gosh.
ahead, Coach.
What's in this fishbowl?
These are just,
Good luck. Ito na naman
mga
ako.
mapapaisip ka lang na tanong na parang hindi natin naiisip on a daily basis. Yan.
Oh my
Dati ako
God,
nagsasabi,
scary.
easy fun lang yan. Tapos biglang nagugulat ako, bigla na lang ako
Hindi
gusto
pala.
umalis.
Okay,
Alright.
I'll read it.
Yes,
So,
Yes,
yes.
please.
Give an overrated career advice you've heard and received.
Oh, that's cute.
Overrated? That's a hard
career.
question.
I know
Okay,
it is.
go, Coach. Meron ba?
Yeah. So, it's not overrated because for me, it's something that works.
Okay.
So go with your strengths,
Ah.
right? Go with what you're strong at. Go at where your values are, and go with who you are as a person.
Pero,
So I mean, a lot of people say that, but it's hard to do.
it is.
It
Yeah,
is.
Yun
so
nga eh.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done. So it's overrated in a way, like, you say it a lot of times. But for me, if you really listen to that,
And if you
Go
really
with it.
understand the
Yeah.
message of that,
yeah, yeah.
malalim talaga yun.
Oo.
And effective talaga siya.
Effective siya, and for real, if you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Additional question lang, Coach Anda. Paano mo malalaman kung ano yung strengths mo?
Yun. Yeah, I was
Diba?
about to
Kasi
get to that.
minsan tayo, yung parang, saan ba ako magaling?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because last night I had a meeting and we were talking about our strengths, and I was saying, like, for me, being a coach, I thought it was something easy to do, and sometimes if it's something natural, easy to do, you take it for granted. It's like, oh, anyone can do that, but not anyone can do what you do. Like, let's say if you're being a host, there's something special about you that makes you different from all other hosts or actresses. And me, in a way, I'm a coach, or your host also, it's very different for all of us. So to be able to find out your strengths, you have to find out your patterns. So what are the things
Okay.
that get me me excited? What are things that with my eyes closed, kayang-kaya ko
Mag-notes
siya?
na kayo dyan, okay?
Diba?
Strengths,
Take down notes.
patterns.
Patterns.
Okay.
And if it's easy for you, with your eyes closed, kayang-kaya mo siya, you're really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Strength mo na yun. Yeah. So let me give you an example, no? Let's say you're, even as simple as you're organizing a trip. And you're the person who likes,
Ako yung
let's say,
taga-itinerary.
itinerary. Or if
Yes.
you're someone who likes putting people together, strength na yun. Yeah, so those are different kinds of strengths, and we try to see the pattern of that. There's a certain kind of work or job that fits you.
Tama ba tayo, coach, to think na kaya sometimes nagiging overrated ang advice na yan? Kasi some of us naman acquire these strengths ng hindi natin intended at the first place. Di ba merong dahil yun yung naging course mo or yun yung parang pinush ka ng yung parents mo, di ba, nasasabihin ka, kaya lumakas ka na lang doon sa area na yun.
Or
Yeah.
is it something that has always been natural?
For me, it's always been something that's natural, but you can also be placed, let's say it's forced onto you, no?
Yeah.
But you're still using parts of you that
That's also
you're good
strong.
at.
Oo.
Yeah.
Kaya
And
ka
you're
rin
pushing it in a
naging,
different way.
kaya naging strength mo pa rin siya.
Parang nag-mold ka into
Oo,
it.
something like that.
So like say we
Okay.
always can say like a salesman. So there are two different kinds of salesmen. They can hit a high target. One is relationship building, one is more strategic.
Right.
But both can be the top salesman. So it's using different ways to be able to
Get to
achieve
their goals.
something. But the
Right.
difference is lang, you as a person, that's how you make your career choices. So looking at your values, looking at who you are in totality, and that's how you choose your career, the right career for you. It's not just in strength. There's so many things about you that you need to know.
Tsaka I love na hindi siya yung black and white,
Oo.
no? Na yes and no. There are a
Yeah.
lot of gray areas that
Okay.
you can now appreciate actually.
Yeah, actually what's interesting is I coach a lot of top executives now in different organizations. And you think at that level, they know who they are. But I have a lot of people who still ask me career questions. Like, I'm moving to a different company. Do you think this is for me? I'm given another role. Should I do this or not? So a lot of it is going back to your authentic self. So knowing who you are. And that's difficult. You think that's easy. But it's
Because
a difficult
most of the
question.
time, hindi natin pala talaga kilala yung sarili natin.
Oo.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we know who we are, but if we think deeply,
Yeah.
na, ito pala yung mga preferences ko,
And it's
hindi
never
ako aware.
100%.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's also ever evolving.
Oo, nagbabago.
It is.
kasi
Nagbabago-bago din
Yeah,
yung mga...
it is.
Like ako, I've discovered that my love language changes.
Oh.
When it comes to my husband. Parang dati, I like more of like quality time and affirmation. And then eventually, it was changing into time and touch. Yung I like lang nakakuddle, nakaganon na dati hindi. So I'm sure it's the same also for other
Careers,
aspects
yes.
in our lives.
Yeah. But I want to say that a lot of the things that you're really good at, you've had that since before. It's in you.
It's a
Kailangan lang
gift.
matap
It's a
in.
gift.
It's a
yeah.
gift.
And we use it in different ways. So if,
Yes.
let's say, I'm someone who builds relationships and you do also, but we do it in different ways.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's why our
We're all
DNA
unique,
is
eh.
different. Yeah. It's just good to remember for everyone.
I like that. Kasi alam mo, I like how you said that, Coach Anda, because it can also help us not compare ourselves to others.
Yeah.
Kasi that's also a villain. Just like as you say,
Yeah.
parang pwede na to, di ba? Ganon din yung comparison eh. Na parang we tend to compare ourselves to other people. Karamihan dyan, batchmates. Di ba kapag may mga reunion, high school reunion, and you see each other, and you're like, oh, they're all successful, they've done this in their lives, tas ako, ito lang yung narating ko. Very dangerous.
Saka
Di ba?
sad to say din kahit sa ating family, especially elderly, ayan, in the families, di ba, na magsasabi, wala, magti-30 ka na, lumampas ka na ng ganitong edad, bakit wala pa yung ganito?
Oo.
There's the pressure also.
But you know what? I would want to believe that the titos and titas and the elderly are slowly learning.
Sana naman.
Slowly
Not
learning.
slowly learning, you know, to not engage into these topics
Right.
every time you see, you know, a close relative na first time mo makikita in years, 'di ba? Parang natututo rin naman tayo on how to like,
Mga musta na lang.
yes.
Keep it light and pleasant, just like our fishbowl questions right
Correct.
here. Let's have the
Okay.
second one.
Bubunot ako pero si Coach Anda din ang sasagot nito ha.
Really?
Disclaimer
Oh
ha.
my gosh.
Okay. Or maybe me if I can. Most embarrassing moment in your career.
That's you na.
Oo, that's
I
me
think
na.
it's you.
Sinagot agad ni Coach Anda.
That's you na.
You can handle that. Most embarrassing moment in my career. Ano ba? You know, I praise God that halos wala. But, kung meron man akong maalala were, of course, those moments wherein I can't say forced, but I had no choice but to sing.
Oh!
Hindi naman ako singer. Pero, kasi po dati, nung panahon na wala pang social media, ang paraan ng mga artista to connect with fans is through fans day, mall show,
Correct. Mall
we
tour.
travel mall tour, so you go to different provinces. Siyempre, kakanta ka. Oh. So ngayon, nag-platinum na ang She's So Lucky ni Britney Spears.
Yes.
So, ang mga pyesa natin dyan, mga The Course, ganon. Tapos kapag mataas na yung notes, sing with me, ganon. Audience participation. So, probably at this point in my life, I'd be embarrassed.
But at least you look back to it now nang natatawa na lang.
Oo, because wala nga akong choice. Kasi ang totoo ko talagang skill or talent is dancing. Ang problema, sasayaw ako sa stage mag-isa. Siyempre, kailangan may backup dancers. But not all the time you can have.
Okay.
So, sing talaga. And I remember one specific incident wherein I was singing and I kept walking back. And then
Oh no.
the people were kind of like screaming. So I'm like, natatouch naman si ate girl. Parang galing naman sila sa boses ko. Kasi medyo parang sumisigaw sila. Nun pala kasi may step behind me. And true enough, I hit the step and fell backwards. So napaupo ako. So gusto ko talagang lamunin na ng
Oh my
stage. But I just stood up and go, what can I do?
Meron ba tayong mga Camille Prats fans out there sa ating comment section na naalala ang instance na ito?
I can't remember
Ayan.
where that was, but I remember it was during a Gimic Nation event. Because when we were doing Gimic back then, nag-tour kami all over some parts of the Philippines as a cast.
Yeah, but I feel like
Yun
for
siguro.
somebody who's in show business, I think parang rite of passage talaga.
Siguro, di ba?
Has to
At some
happen.
point,
Yeah.
talagang, alam mo yun, malalaglag on
Ito,
stage.
meron pang isa. Very quick lang.
Ayan, ang dami.
Siyempre, as a host,
Right
di ba?
person.
As a host. Napagkamalan ko yung isang beauty queen na beauty Serena, super Serena.
Okay.
Oh.
So, kasi kakagising ko lang.
Okay.
Tapos meron talaga kasi kaming guest doon na super Serena.
Queen talaga siya.
Super
Okay.
beautiful. And then, a beauty queen. So, to my eyes, they're all the same.
Alright.
They look the same. And then I go, oh! And then she started speaking. And then I go, wow! Grabe, no? I was so amazed. And I go, even your voice sounds like a woman. And then she goes, what?
But I
What?
am.
Tapos, eto, this was happening. There was a makeup artist here. My Ate Suzy was here. Sorry, Ate Suzy. Na-name drop ko talaga kung ano-ano to.
Nadamay.
So, Ate Suzy, makeup artist. As soon as I said, grabe your voice, no? Also sounds like a girl. Nag-disperse yung mga tao na wala. So I go, umalis tong mga to.
Nilaglag ka.
Tapos hanggang sa, one of our good friends there, sabi niya, hoy, ano ka ba? Babae yan, ano? Alam mo talagang yung buong episode na yun, hindi ko siya matignan sa mata. Hiyang-hiya talaga.
Yeah, well, buti na lang nung before pa yon. Because kung ngayon, ako, 2024, it's a very sensitive discussion.
It is, but it was really an honest.
Ayan. So at least naman, inamin. Di ba?
Oo.
Oo. At saka, I'm sure, nag-make amends na kayo nung beauty queen na yun by now.
Parang hindi naman niya minasama.
Oh.
I'm sure she knew also that I didn't mean anything
Probably
by it.
took it as a compliment pa nga eh. Ang ganda. Diba? That's what it means. Maganda.
Yeah,
Alright.
correct.
Okay,
Oo.
let's have one more.
Okay,
One
coach.
more fishbowl question bago pa ma-research ng mga
I
fans.
can't give this question to you.
Kung sino yun. Oo
Ako po ang
nga.
tagabigay ng questions,
okay.
coach.
Oh my gosh, it's a long question.
Alright.
What's a small win that not too many people know about but you're proud of? Oh, wow. A small win.
Recent? Or,
Yeah, recent or the past? Wait lang. Let me go through my
Yes, go
memory.
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so for me, a lot of people also don't know that I like adventure and I like to learn sports. I like to travel also. So people get surprised when I say that I've done like sports like mountaineering, or I tried like hockey, underwater hockey, and things like that. But
Underwater hockey?
yeah, underwater hockey. I
Interesting.
played that for a time. And so for me, learning those, it's pushing myself at the edge of the comfort zone. And when I'm able to overcome that and learn that, I feel that I give back so much to myself. I learn so much about myself on my limits, on pushing boundaries. And that's also how I work as a coach and a person. Like I like pushing people's boundaries in a good way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because by doing that, you'll discover, kaya ko pala.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yun eh. Actually, that's why I do those things, because I want to see how far can I go, how
Yes.
much can I go to be able to get that done.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Parang andun din ang gagaling yung mas marami pang mga small wins, no? Of course, competitive sport, di ba? And being in the outdoors, no, marami talagang mga nadidiscover natin sa ating sarili.
At saka ang dami kasi talagang bagong dumadating sa buhay. Like ako, just to add on to what Coach Anda was saying, like, learning a new sport is always something good to do at any age. Diba? At any age. Ang daming options yan. Trying to start your, jumpstart your fitness is something that you can also start doing that's also pushing your limits and your boundaries, diba?
Yeah.
And also, any age can do that. Parang let's not limit ourselves na, tanda ko na, hindi na yan para sa akin. Kasi I normally hear that from the titos and titas na parang okay na ako, I know, okay na ako where I'm at. Parang ganyan.
Sitting pretty na lang. Ako, sige, mag-share po ako ng kaunting small win lang.
Yes, please.
I'm very happy, syempre, na with dito, no, pag-start natin ng Real Camille also was around the time na I spent my first year dito sa company. Yes! Ayan, where I do
That's a
my
small win.
live hosting
Actually,
for.
a big win.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very proud. Somebody na freelancer kasi before, big win yun.
Oo naman!
Na nakakaisang
Yeah.
taon ka. Ayan. So, shoutout po kay Sir Pat at kay Miss Yas. Thank you for the trust.
Yes.
Ayan, there you go. And thank you, ayan, sa mga sagot ninyo.
Alright, moving
for our
on.
questions. Let's go.
Yes.
Tuloy natin ito.
Eto na, ang next segment naman natin ay Connect with Camille, where we talk about things na either hard to talk about or hindi talaga natin masyadong napag-uusapan. So medyo hard subjects, ganyan, hard topics. So let's start with something na I think people who are really striving for success need to know. What are common leadership or career pitfalls and how to avoid them?
Yeah, I think as a leader, one is if you're focused too much on yourself, right? So the ego is the problem all the time. So you feel like you're the only one who has all the answers. You're the only one who knows everything. You forget that there are people around you that you need to work with. So that's important, that you're not alone and that there are people around you. So another one is being able to admit your mistakes. Being able, and actually the culture that we have, that we work with, I work a lot with Filipino companies as well. But a lot of times, people don't like feedback. They feel like you're being attacked. And I think sometimes as a culture, we want to keep the peace, we want to keep the relationships. But it's important to be able to know that feedback is a gift, that feedback helps us grow. And to be thankful for the feedback that's given to us. And instead of someone not giving us feedback at all. So for me, being open to that change, being open to what people have to say about you, and being open to you growing all the time. Even if you're at the top of the ladder, you're the CEO, it's important to know that we still can grow as a person. Another one, maybe on career pitfall, is knowing that you should be able to be open to anything new. That's anything that's given to you. And to be able to seize the opportunities. Because a lot of times you see it, and then you don't take it, sayang.
Hindi ko kaya yan.
Oo.
Yan kasi yung mga common things that some people say pag ayaw nilang tanggapin yung hindi ko kaya yan, hindi ko alam yan. So medyo delikado din yun kasi hindi ka mag-grow kung hindi ka open to learn something new. Unlike some people naman na, I don't know that, but I will do my best to research on it, then maybe I can try.
Yeah, it's hubris, tama po ba? The term, no, na meron, yung pride, ayan,
Yan.
tinatawag natin. Kasi na parang, bakit hindi ako ang unang nakaisip nito?
Yes.
Bakit hindi ako ang nakadiscover nito? Diba? And so, I'm gonna shun it out. Hindi ko siya tatanggapin. Kasi that might mean na may kulang sa akin. When in fact, kapag na-acknowledge natin na may kulang sa atin, that's also when it starts to dawn on us that we can still get better. We can still
Yes.
improve. May madadagdag pa tayo sa buhay natin.
Agree.
So, super applicable sa ating mga careers, guys. Okay?
Ayan. I'm checking kung meron ba tayong mga questions sa ating
Sa Facebook natin.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm sure marami pong sumasali sa atin from actually all over the world. Minsan natin ang mga
Yes.
fans ni Camille and friends also from outside the country. Ayan, na I'm sure, no, pinag-iisipan din, ayan, ang kanilang mga careers.
Correct.
So,
Okay, let's ito, Coach Anda. Ano naman ang pwede mong gawin once you are given a leadership role? Or actually as simple as you get promoted. So kapag na-promote ka, syempre as a newbie, you start in a company and then all of a sudden, binigyan ka, nakitaan ka ng kakaibang abilidad,
Potential.
'di ba? And then binigyan ka ng additional tasks. Ano naman ang mga pwede mong gawin? Kasi sometimes it can be overwhelming, sometimes you feel like you're not ready for it yet. So, what's your advice
I'm gonna
for
listen close
those?
to this one.
Yeah, for me, it's that acceptance again of what's around you. It's being like a sponge and open to learning. It's being able to ask questions, being able to study the environment. I think from the leaders I've coached also, I found out that there are some leaders who go into a situation where they are trying to force what they were doing before as a leader in another company. When you enter into a new company, iba na yung culture.
Tama.
Diba? So a lot of it is studying where am I at? What's my environment? How am I responding to the environment around me? And how do I make more conscious decisions that's going to help me, my people, and the organization? And also, like, let's say if you're a new leader, right? You've just been promoted as a new leader. It's good to be able to ask yourself, as a new leader, I need to be shift to being more strategic. I need to be able to take care of my people. I can't be a micromanager anymore because sometimes we're so used to doing certain things. Na we want to hold on to it, but it's not effective. Again, I bring back that line: what got you here won't get you there. So you have to be able to just let go of those things that are not helping you. And you'll know if it's not helping you because it's not giving you the same result.
Yes.
But sometimes as people, we just keep on doing it over and over.
Kasi nakasanayan na natin
nakasanayan. But
Naging
in the
force
end,
of habit na.
in the end, it's not giving us our results. So if it's not, then you need to be able to stop it and try something different.
Yes.
I remember your insight from a while ago lang actually doon. I think kapag people are given, people are assigned people to manage, I think importante din na kinikilala ngayon yung bago mong team.
Yes.
Diba? Yung mga tao who are now under you because you have moved up, for example. Diba? And now, there are people who are gonna be subordinate to you. Yes, and what are yung mga pwede natin gawin with their skill set, yung mga kaya nilang i-contribute to the team. Is this something po ba na pwede nating i-discuss as well? Are there ways for us to actually employ, no? Para maging mas effective yung team natin, yung team members natin also?
Yeah, so we have to be able to find out, and looking at your team and looking at the goals, what are the people in my team that I need as strengths, right?
Okay.
What if that's my goal, that's where I want to go in the next 5 years. What does my dream team look like? And defining that. And then once you have your team in place, there may be times na may minanahan ka from another leader, diba? Then that's your team
Kumbaga
already.
na-absorb mo na yung culture na yon.
Already. And then some of them are the new ones that you've hired. For me, like a good starting point is to really get to know your team by having those one-on-one conversations with them. So it's not just group meetings where you talk about the direction, talk about general stuff. It's the more specific things, the more customized coaching conversations that you have with your team where you get to really know them. So it's like building a relationship or
Yun
building
talaga
trust
ang
or
mahalaga
spending
eh.
time with them actually gets you to understand na ito pala yung triggers nila or ito pala yung mga nag-motivate sa kanila or these are the things that is important for them to help them become a better team member in my company or in my group to help them achieve their goals. So without knowing that, another thing I like to say is it's not a one size fits all.
Yes.
So you can't say that because I'm like this, then everyone is like this.
Tama.
But everyone is different. So you have to be able to do that by spending a lot of time with them.
And embrace
Yeah.
the change,
Yes.
adjust also
Yes.
accordingly.
Oo. That's why siguro ang pagiging leader hindi siya madali. Because you have to have like you have to step back, have a better view of things. Kasi kapag maliit yung tingin mo, parang you also see the details na may mas malaking picture pa kung bakit nangyayari yung mga nangyayari doon sa workplace na yun. Okay, what about this, Coach Anda? How to deal with a difficult team member? Or for other people or those who are watching with us, how to deal with a difficult boss? Iba-iba. Pwedeng teammate mo, pwede ring boss mo, basta part of your workplace. How do you deal with that?
It's interesting you asked that question because difficulty is my specialty. The more difficult it is, I like to be able to work with that. So it makes me really challenged to be able to solve the problem. But with people, it's really looking at them as like an iceberg. If you see an iceberg, yung tip lang yung nakikita mo.
Yes.
You need to understand.
Anong pinanggagalingan nito?
Ano ba yung story ng tao na to? And maybe there are times that I can connect with that story.
So may psychology factor ito, Coach Anda, gano'n, di ba?
Yeah, so you have to understand ano yung nagsa-stop sa kanila, what's their story, what are they telling themselves, ano man yung fears nila. And just parang putting a blank slate first and being able to understand them as a person.
Okay.
Because if you have judgment right away, and you're gonna be triggered also and reacting to that person based on yung judgment mo sa kanila. That goes for anything. People at work, your friends, your parents, or whoever you deal with. It's being able to understand that there is a story for every person. But you probably are asking also, not every person is easy to deal with, diba? Parang even if you found out the whole iceberg, ayaw pa rin mag-change, diba?
Paano
After you have
yun?
that conversation. So in a team,
Tanggalin na.
yeah,
Joke lang.
I was gonna say actually something like that. So you have
Mas straight to the point lang yung akin, di ba?
I was
Simple
gonna-
lang tayo dito. Kung ayaw mo, diwag.
I was gonna get there.
Okay. So there's
if
a
you look-
process.
Yeah, there's a process of course. Not just like that, but if you see na, teka lang, parang ganito yung gusto kong i-achieve in
Okay.
the next 5 years. And this
Oo.
team member, kahit ano pang training or conversations,
Parang
wala
ito
pang
lang talaga yung
nangyari.
kumukontra at humihila sa
Yeah.
lahat pababa.
Hindi siya aligned.
Yes.
But before you really
Alam mo, ang
think-
gaganda ng mga choice of words mo.
So I think
Okay.
before you really take them out, you have to also think about, baka they're fit for another position.
Yun.
Baka hindi lang ito yung
Baka
ano
hindi
nila.
ito ang strength
Oo,
niya.
Yeah. And then after that, we go for that. Kung wala talaga.
Kung wala talaga. Kung wala talaga siya mapangulugan.
So, at least slowly.
Because, you know, kung
Yeah,
hindi
totoo
talaga
naman.
mahalapan kung saan siya lulugar, probably the person doesn't want to be there.
Exactly.
Yun naman.
Totoo yun.
Oo,
Kasi
baka
kung
naman-
nagsastruggle ka with that person because hindi rin siya yung parang tipong nagiging okay, ganyan, edi ibig sabihin nun, kung ikaw hindi ka masaya sa kanya, I'm sure hindi rin siya masaya
Yeah.
being in this workplace,
Baka
di
yun yung
ba?
paraan niya to, pump out.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
But there are difficult people who are just difficult unknowingly.
Yeah.
Paano yun?
Hindi naman nila alam.
Hindi rin nila alam.
You have.
Or sorry, Coach Anda. Difficult but effective.
Ah,
How do you deal with that?
okay.
Yeah.
But difficult kasi is also you need to make that person also like an easier person to deal with because you're dealing with people in our organization. You're not dealing with just
Nag-work
yourself.
siya,
Yes.
pero kasama
Yeah,
niya hindi.
hindi
Dahil sa
rin.
kanya.
So even if high performer siya, you still have to see, if we keep this person and then may mga difficult things about that person that we're kind of like adjusting to. Ano yung effect nun sa organization? So it's like a management decision whether worth it ba to keep this person in the role.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're that difficult person,
Hello.
you have to be able to step back and reflect and think about, is this helping me grow as a person? And
Mami Ka, meron tayong friend from Melbourne, Australia.
Ooh!
Wow! Who's joining
Hello,
us? And I'm sure na-enjoy niya
Aussie.
ito. Always delightful daw watching each episode.
May natawa dun sa tanggal agad. Si Liza Bermudez.
Ayan.
Ako, I have a question Parang malilimutan ko kasi yung tanong ko. Okay. Paano, coach, kung kunwari, in a certain company or in a certain workplace, you have a difficult boss, and then itong boss mo na to, parang nagga-gaslight siya or something like that, and wala kang choice but to deal with it kasi ang sinasabi ng iba mong bosses ganyan na siya tanggapin mo na lang. Kasi effective naman siya, magaling naman siya, yun lang medyo may attitude. how are you gonna deal with that? Kasi karamihan ng mga naririnig ko ng mga problema, Coach Anda, is yung like that. Because it's sad to say, but not a lot of people have the liberty to choose kung anong trabaho nila. Kasi hindi naman madaling pumasok sa trabaho. So once you're already in a company and you have difficult bosses, difficult leaders, and wala kang choice but to suck it up.
Gagalingan mo na lang.
Or talagang titiisin mo na lang. And I would, it's sad that there are workplaces who are like that, or bosses na parang they take advantage of their subordinates. So how do you deal with that? What do you do? Can you assert yourself? Can you speak up?
Yeah. Well, some of that, but you have to also be able to manage, because then you work for the company, and if the company kind of like accepts that kind of boss, then you'll have to work with that. That's the truth. So I work with a lot of leaders who had leaders like that who wanted to leave and resign and all that. But what I help them with is to compartmentalize.
Okay.
Right? So to see the boss, okay, this is the boss, she's difficult or he's difficult, and maybe there are things I can work around with my boss, or I can find ways to profile my boss to be able to communicate with him or her better, so that they can maybe listen to me, or there are things that I can do. And then finding with a space that you can control. Again, uncontrollable yun how the boss is gonna go. So I think it's being able to work with what you can control, and working the good things about your job na lang. It's refocusing that, so refocusing your mind on those things to be able to stand it. So I've had a leader, I think last year, she really was going crazy with her boss, and she wanted to resign already. But I taught her also how to deal with that, and she was able to really put that boss in the box, she understand that. But in 1 year, out 1 year, kasi yung mahirap sa difficult people is pag
Nagiging personal na.
Personal, it becomes emotional, it's so tiring already.
And it's already parang inuubos ka na.
Oo. So there has to be some ways wherein
You get to
hindi mo
separate
siya-
work and-
hindi mo siya dinidibdib. So it's more of like, well, that person's like this, I'm so predictable, this person's gonna react that way. So I'm used to it already. So you have to retrain yourself, because this is a different person you're dealing with.
Yes, that's true. And it's beyond your control,
Yeah,
just like what you say.
Yeah.
Okay, ito naman, for women climbing the career ladder, how do you set boundaries and assert yourself? Ngayon ba, may struggles pa rin ba ang mga kababaihan sa pag-akyat ng ano? Oh.
Yeah, still very present. And I think what's important is to be able to know yourself as a woman. Let's say, because we're talking about women leadership now, and not being so intimidated by the men around you. So knowing who you are, again, knowing your strengths, finding your anchor as a person, and knowing what you can contribute to the table. Because you can't be everything. Sometimes the pressure yung mga women also like I have to be everything. I have to be like that guy. I have to be. So if you're like that, you feel so pressured. So it's going
Yes.
back to who you are.
Right.
And I think what's important is to be able to know the boundaries rin. So know also like when this is too much, when it's abusive, to be able to speak up, right? And to be able to know what's important for you. Yeah.
Is there a need to approach to assert your gender? Like especially with yung dysphoria natin ng women and men in the workplace.
Yes.
Diba?
Yeah.
Kailangan ba natin siyang lagyan ng more regard? Or should it not matter? Kung, at ang magmamatter lang dapat ay yung skills mo at yung kaya mong i-contribute.
Yeah.
So for me, it shouldn't really matter. I feel like everyone should be the same.
Right.
And then, but knowing that because sometimes men and women are different, there are certain things that are more dominant than women. So let's say your compassion, your building relationships, your care for others, your empathy, your malasakit. So, these are also traits naman that men can have. But it's also knowing that, okay, maybe I have more tendency to do that, so I should be able to use that in the workplace. And understanding that what you have can be complementary instead of something na hindi, ganyan siya, ganito ako eh. So, you're more
Yes.
combative. But if you see that I can learn from them, they can learn from me,
Yes.
then it becomes more collaborative.
Ako ngayon, question ko sa inyong dalawa.
Okay.
As women who are working, women who are leaders also, meron pa kayong mamibigay na advice to the women in the workplaces out there? Di ba, to set these boundaries, ayan, para maging mas confident sila to assert themselves. If
Coach?
meron
Pinauna talaga si Coach. Coach.
I'll give you the embarrassing
Sige.
question, you'll give me that. Okay. So,
Hindi kasi iniisip ko based on experience, no? Siguro para sa akin, siguro na-blessed din ako na hindi ko masyadong nararanasan yung gano'n. Na parang feeling mo, porkit babae ka, you are not of value or you are not important. But siguro, my advice is just be yourself. Alam mo kung anong value mo, alam mo what you bring to the table, alam mo kung ano yung naiaambag mo doon sa kumpanya, and you are there for a specific reason. And another thing is, with all these hullabaloos of power tripping, of who's, alam mo yun, whenever we try to get to somewhere, ang ano ko lang dyan is that, kung para sa'yo talaga yung isang bagay na yun, it will not escape you. But if it's not for you, kahit nasubukin mo talagang, alam mo yun, talagang makipaglaban para sa posisyon na yun, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Babae o lalaki
Babae o lalaki ka man. So it's real, but sometimes we feel injustice at some point because syempre mas na-overpower talaga ng mga kalalakihan ang workplace. But I also would want to say that marami na rin kasing mga babae ngayon na mas active na din. And also, learn to separate yung trabaho mo sa buhay mo sa bahay. Like, especially for wives, because I'm a wife and I'm a mother and I'm also working. But you know, one of the things that I realize is that whenever I come home from work, I'm no longer a boss. Because sometimes we tend to take that into our home or to bring that into our homes, into our marriage. And that's where conflict happens because you can't be bossing around your husband kasi ganun ka sa workplace mo. Diba? So, yung balance na yun. So, whenever I come home, you know, one time I was, because I'm doing a serye now, so I put on this makeup, I have this different hairstyle that's so different from who I really am. So, whenever I come home, I remove everything, tanggal lahat. And you know, as I do that, I realize na, wow, I'm grateful for today because I was able to finish another work day, and now I'm back to my old self. I'm back to being a mom. I'm back to being a wife. I'm no longer who I was portraying myself to be. And it's nice to have that clarity in mind. Kasi minsan yung ibang tao, hindi na nila nasiseparate yung trabaho sa buhay-bahay. And that should be very clear kung sino ka sa trabaho at kung sino ka sa bahay.
Conscious effort to compartmentalize.
Yes.
And I agree what you're saying. It's a lot about, I mentioned earlier about anchoring. And that's the anchor, knowing yourself, knowing you have different roles to play, and knowing when it's the, you know, may mga lines yan, like, okay, I'm at work now, this is my role, but I'm outside work, it's a different role altogether. And a lot of it I see in having conversations with women is that there has to be a lot of self-care also. People, especially working women, forget to take care of themselves. To really ask themselves, what do I need today? What space I need for me? So it's not about just me, but it's also about taking care of others and how to find that balance.
Ako yung mga ganyan ko, Netflix and chill, okay na. Totoo, yung parang that's my
It's
way.
simple, right?
Diba? I mean,
Yeah.
for women, I think it's simpler. I would want to say that. Like for men, parang kailangan talaga de-stress. Whole day, de-stress. Ganon. Pero for women, a little chika, a little mani-pedi. Parang you feel na parang yung 2 oras na yun, parang ang dami ko nang naging, I was so selfish. May ganyan na. So, but it really helps.
You know, as a man in the workplace, I actually agree.
Really?
Yeah, but I'd also like to take note, syempre, no, how impressive women are. Women always have it hard. Diba? Mahirap talaga, especially wives, especially mothers. Diba? Mahirap talaga para sa mga babae ang mas maraming bagay. No? Men have their way easily. No?
That's
they can
true.
just raise their voice and they'll get what they want. But women, sometimes ang dami pa kailangan pagdaan.
Sumisigaw na, hindi pa rin naririnig. Ang naririnig, ingay lang.
I think
Diba?
kung meron mang ikaw kilalanin about yourself, it's important that you know your voice. Diba? Alam mo
I like that.
what voice you contribute to the world that you have, to the workplace na kung nasaan ka. And always mo, sa mga women natin out there, no, to Camille and to Coach Anda, alalahanin niyo po that you have a space.
Yeah.
And it should always be.
I like that, GK.
Ayan. Ako.
Okay, ito very interesting topic. Switching careers in your mid-30s and 40s. Kasi alam mo, natatandaan ko, Coach Anda, during the pandemic, I've gotten a lot of messages na they're doctors, they're lawyers, and then they switch to becoming bakers. Kasi walang choice eh. 'Di ba? But ngayon, meron na kasing mga tao na I also see a lot of like YouTubers. She used to be a nurse. I forgot the name, pero something like that. She used to be a nurse all her life, and then she loves putting on makeup. So she started a YouTube vlog, and then now she owns a makeup brand company. Diba? So imagine from the career shift, from being a professional into becoming a content creator and then starting her own company. So, marami dyan, I'm sure yun din yung gustong mangyari sa buhay nila. Na parang, di ba karamihan kasi sa atin, may pinag-aralan tayo, pero yung pinag-aralan natin, profession yun. And it doesn't mean that yung profession na pinili natin ay gusto natin. And then, iba rin yung passion mo bilang tao. Yung strength mo that's, pinanganak ka na may gift ka na ganon. So how do you make that shift? Or how do you find the courage to even think about it?
May trivia ako before mag-answer si Coach Anda. One of my personal favorite na mga career shift stories is that of Sir Noel Capacon.
Okay, yes, the singer.
Yeah, di ba? He became a singer when he was 55.
What?
Wow, 55.
Oh, I didn't know his story. And before that, he was
Ang alam ko, he was an accountant. Or like, in the office. Talagang, and then up and left. And became this artist. Isa yun
Yes,
sa mga...
a great artist, a wonderful composer.
Ayan.
Wow!
Parang, what goes around in a career shift?
Yes. Is it the timing, Coach Anda? Ano ba?
It's interesting that you asked me that question because when I was 34, I made a shift. So a big shift, right? So that it's perfect and you're 30. So before that, I was doing corporate for a very long time. I was in sales, I was marketing and HR. But then there was something in me na parang may disconnected. Like I wasn't really happy with what I was doing. And so I mentioned earlier that you have to find your patterns. You have to find the things that give you joy, even the simplest things, and ask yourself, why do I like doing that? And so when there's that feeling that you have and you're able to write that down, reflect on it, and find your patterns and what really resonates with you, then you get to know what your strengths are. And I think that's why some people have the courage to be able to shift midway, even when they're really old as well. But it first starts with that discovery, that self-discovery, that wait, I think this is not the job for me. And it's something instinctive, it's something that you kind of know
Yes.
inside it. Na parang,
Kung lagi kang napapagalitan, lagi kang pumapalpak, wala kang ginagawang tama, hindi yan
Ikaw
para
yung
sa...
difficult person.
yeah.
Yung dinidiscuss natin difficult person.
But sometimes it's like, parang you go to work and you're always lost, na parang, ginagawa ko, but parang lahat mali.
Oh, I mean,
Or if
that-
you're tired, if you're so tired, if you just want to give
Kumbaga,
up.
isang oras ka pag nasa trabaho, parang,
Oh, ayaw mo na, diba?
Nauubos
Yeah, because
ka
for
na.
me, work is actually like a relationship that you have. So you're doing work most of the time, and you get really tired if you're spending time with the wrong thing. So it's important to be able to know again what your strengths are, and be able to ask around other people, like who have maybe if you have an inkling, maybe this is what I want to do. Interview them, talk to them, ask them about it, and so you'll be able to really have a more realistic picture on, okay, this is what that person does. So I just want to say when I became a coach, that's what I did. I talked to other coaches, I read about courses, and I said, when it resonates with me, I'm gonna give it a try.
I like that, Coach, kasi as you say that, tama eh, bago ka mag-shift ng career, meron ka ng inaay eh. Meron ka ng, parang type ko itong ginagawa nito ah.
And some people are there already.
Yes.
Pwede ka na magtanong.
Right. Diba? It's just a matter of like really making that idea alive in your life by being proactive and actually doing something about it rather than just leaving it as a thought.
Para sound yung decision.
Yes.
It's important. Of course, it's a shift. No? Maraming bagay na magbabago, maraming bagay na maiiwan
Yes.
ka. And of course, so many things ang hindi mo pa alam about.
Mangyayari.
So I think
Oo.
maganda na prepared ikaw if ever you are to make that shift.
And I think important for maybe the people also listening to know that you have to have the courage to do it.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's different from I want to do it in my head, and you want to do it in my heart, but the action to do it is the most difficult part. The guts to do it.
It's the
So,
actions
yeah,
that will
action.
determine
Yeah.
whether may magbabago sa'yo o wala.
And And I
Because a thought will always be just a thought.
Yeah, and I think the most important question is, how much do you really want it? And if I do this for the next 5 years, how happy will I be?
Yes.
And if you tell yourself, like, oh, I think I'm gonna really be happy with this. So you have to just go
Despite
and
of
try.
the struggles and the challenges, because there will be.
Yeah.
Kasi minsan yun yung hindi natin nakikita. I wanna make this shift, pero pag nahirapan na, ay, ayoko na palang, hirap pala yun, wag na pala.
Yeah, parang relationship din
Diba?
talaga.
Oo.
Sabi nga nila,
We don't wanna jump eh. Parang we're so scared to jumping to the other side. Pero sabi nga nila, diba, hindi mo daw makikita yung beauty nun up until you take the leap. Yeah.
Something that I help people also with is, when you make goals or try out things, you do it in bite-sized pieces, right? So let's say if you shift into another career, you try it out for, let's say, a few times. You try it out. It's good to do it in phases. Maybe you review it for 1 quarter. Do I really like this? Is it going well? Then I should do more and more of it.
Okay.
And so knowing that, that's not the end of you. Some people think that if I jump, yun na yun. So you still have your experience that you've done for many years. So go back to also. And there's always a plan A, B, C.
Yes.
That you can do, and you won't be stuck.
Para meron kang fallback.
Alam mo,
You can
to
fall back.
to put that into the context of pagiging practical. Siguro sa panahon ngayon example, you want to learn something new. Ang daming online courses. Start with that first. 'Di ba? So kapag nag-online course ka, magkakaroon ka na ng idea, ito pala to. Kung hindi para sa'yo, at least you've only wasted what? A couple of $1,000 for that course.
Online links na.
Diba? And then, if you understand na, uy, gusto ko talaga itong gawin, and then you pursue it even more. After taking that online course, get parang a 3-month course, or a 6-month course, or a 2-year course. And then up until you fully convince yourself na, okay, yes. So, yun yung parang bite-size pieces na sinasabi ni
Yeah.
Coach Anda na dahan-dahan, hindi pwedeng nag-decide ka ngayon, next year mag-aaral ako hanggang master's degree. Yung, yes! So parang also be realistic with your goal setting.
Yeah. And then I think, tama po ba, meron na rin namang mga companies and organizations ngayon that actually allow couple of months na hiatuses.
Yeah,
diba?
so you can actually do like that sabbatical and try
Correct,
something
yung
else.
sabbatical.
Or as you're working, you can try something a little bit on the side and see if you can do some work like that. Or if you're working in the company, you can ask your boss, "Parang I want to try something else. Can I do like a bit of that while I'm doing my work?" So that's how you discover whether baka in your own company pa lang, you can already see na I can do pala something else.
Or
Maybe
mas
that's my
effective ka
direction.
pala sa ibang field.
Oo.
Ibang
Yeah.
department.
Hindi mo na kailangang lumipat pa ng ibang kumpanya.
Oo.
Ayan,
Nice.
Kikinig sila. Hello po.
Bakit? Anong department bang gusto mong lipatan, GK?
Pag-isipan ko after this episode. Nag-hello sa atin si Diane Nara Laluan and she said thank you. because she's learning.
Ooh, wow! So much learnings
Ako
indeed.
po, meron akong follow-up lang na question from all of these.
Okay.
Leadership roles, career shifts, ang mga ganyan. Ang nagiging problem sometimes is, kasi iba-iba yung personality natin. May iba na introvert about it. Diba? May iba na they're really go-getters for it. Ano po yung pwede natin i-advise sa mga nahihiya ako sabihin?
Ano ba?
Parang nahihiya akong propose to sa boss ko, ganyan.
Yung medyo yung...
timid.
Yes.
Diba? Or
Oo,
ano
hindi
siya,
lang
mas
talaga
closer
malakas ang
sa
loob.
self niya.
Yes.
Pero deserve naman niya. The skills
Oo.
are there, no? Andun yung, hindi siya difficult person.
Oo.
Diba? But, paano po natin ito i-handle? How do we do it personally?
So it's going back to who you are gonna perform, right? So if you're someone who's all out, who's just willing to connect and tell your boss and all that, then go with that. But like you said, it's harder if you're more quiet, you're more introverted, and there's nothing wrong with that also. So, but for me, the first step is really being able to say it and to talk about it. It's again like going back to the bite-sized pieces. So maybe you can just put feelers. You can just talk to your boss a little bit
Or
about
magbida-bida
it.
ka muna. Alam mo yun,
You can
galing-galingan
just-
mo.
oo, you
Hanggang
can
sa,
do-
kung ayaw mong magsalita, let your actions speak louder than your words.
well.
Di ba yung pag nandyan si boss, kaya kong gawin to. Ganon. Tapos, uy, parang may additional skill tong si ganito, parang magagamit siya. Maybe that can work.
Yeah, it can
Alam mo
work
yun, can be a
also.
strategy that you can use.
And you have to ask for it. I mean, even if you're shy, you're outspoken, whatever, you have to be able to say it because the
Yes.
bosses are not mind readers. You have to be able to say like, I have an inkling. This is kind of what I want to do. I want to do more of this. can I be exposed to this? Can I do this? So again, not mind readers. You have to be able to say that, and it will be really more helpful to the team and the company if you're also in the right place.
That's right.
Diba?
And also to take note, na karamihan dito sa mga skills na to are hindi skills na pinag-aralan. Some of them are innate. Because, now that Coach Anda is talking about this, I realize that whenever we hire people, we look at the resume. But karamihan ang strengths nila, wala dun sa resume na yun.
Doing the actual work na
Yes. And maybe it's the same way for these people. Na parang, maybe it's not what your bosses are aware of because it wasn't written in your CV. And that's something that you can share with them na, uy, kaya ko rin po itong gawin ha.
Oh, and don't underestimate also the power of volunteers.
Yes!
Diba? Oo. Go. Tama yun eh. Magbida-bida din.
Bida-bida tayo minsan. Basta't wala tayong naapakang iba sa pagiging bida-bida natin, diba? Ooh!
Saya naman. Alright, I hope you guys are learning. Ayan. At kung may mga questions kayo, may mga follow-up kayo, just let us know in our comments section.
Yes!
Thank you very much sa mga sumasama pa sa atin.
Tama!
Take a break tayo.
Aha!
With difficult questions. Ayan ang ating discussion. Pero ngayon, pictures muna. Okay, I have flashcards here and you can just say things on top of your mind, of course in relation to our topic.
Okay.
Okay, so share nyo lang kayo both and kung anong inyong naiisip. I have the first photo here. Is it clear?
Oh no! I
Na-stress
feel
ako dun sa picture.
Ako din,
Na-stress
Coach!
ako.
Oo.
Ba't ganyan yung pictures?
I
Siguro
think-
marami siyang mga to-dos tapos natabunan na yung buong pagkatao niya sa mga
Oo.
deadlines.
Yeah, it's a list of things to do.
Yeah.
Na-overwhelm siya.
How do you deal with cortisol levels?
Parang natulog na lang siya forever.
Ano po ang advice natin?
Oo.
I deal with a lot of leaders who look like that. Na parang, not like
Puro
that,
post-it
but parang
yung mukha.
now, pag nakikita ko sila, I'll remember this picture.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're overwhelmed with everything that they have to do. So, as a leader, parang it's knowing that you can ask your team, you can work with it's a question of how to maximize your team.
Yes.
That's one. But
Yes.
another thing is also like asking yourself also, what are the really important things that I need to do? What are the things that I can delegate doing? Maybe what are the things that I felt, again, I was doing before that's not even important anymore. And when are the times that I need to take breaks in between to be able to re-energize and to be able to have the energy to do things again. But I won't look like that.
Diba?
Are you ever like this?
No. I thank God. Pero hindi talaga.
Meron ka bang
That's
mga
never
ways
happened to you?
ensure?
Parang hindi pa naman. Hindi pa naman. Na-overwhelm ng sobra. Ano rin kasi, parang I've also learned, dati kasi meron akong ugali na parang gusto ko ako gagawa lahat. But then I learned na parang it's also toxic. Kasi kailangan mong i-empower din yung mga tao mo. Na parang you can teach them.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Na parang just as simple as this. In our house, of course we have our ates there, 'di ba? Dati ako talaga yung nagluluto sa bahay. I wanted cook this way, like that, like that. And then sabi ko, there are days that I won't be able to do this because I won't be home.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I did is I taught my ate how to cook. And I would share with her recipes. And then sometimes, I go, okay, let's cook together. So this is how I like to cook my dishes. This is my style. This is yung sunod-sunod. And then she learned it. Now, I'm almost not cooking. So, yung things like that, na parang dati, I feel like, sana dati ko pa natutunan yun. Kasi siguro it would have been healthier also for me to not carry all these burdens kasi feeling ko ako lahat yung responsibilidad ko to, but in reality you can delegate, you can trust that your employees and your team will also do a great job, and if they don't, just lead them into it, guide them into it. Ang tendency kasi is you get frustrated, like ito, very simple, yung mga house help lang sa bahay, di ba? Yung pagbago, parang we don't really teach them. Yung you just expect them to know already
what to
kung
do.
ano yung ano mo. But the reality is, hindi nila alam ugali mo, hindi nila alam quirks mo, hindi nila alam kung ano yung gusto mo sa ayaw mo. So parang for me, you have to really take time to walk them into it, to train them, to speak to them, to in short, orientation, yung mga pinagdadaanan, training. Hindi natin pwedeng i-assume na once they come in, they already know what to do. They don't. We can't assume that they do, and we also cannot put that burden to them kasi hindi mag-work yung relationship. And then that's why it's an ever-occurring problem na you have a helper, hindi tumagal kasi hindi kayo nagkasundo. So palit, and then you hindi mo na-realize all your life yun na yung paulit-ulit na nangyayari sa'yo kasi you're not changing it's a pattern that you're stuck in. So mga things like that.
Isa sa mga quotes na nakita ko the other day, parang coming from that sharing, sabi, if you want to inspire people, don't show them your superpowers, show them theirs.
Ooh, I like that.
And
Oh,
then
like
show
that.
their
Yeah.
superpowers.
Yes.
Empower them to inspire them. And I think for leaders, like in any occasion, sa bahay man, sa opisina, di ba? I think it's important na ito, kaya mo dito.
Yes. Hindi mo palang alam ngayon, but you can.
I think
Like
I think
that.
a good question to ask is how do I maximize the people around me, and how do I maximize their superpower, right?
Saan sila magagamit? Okay, let's go next.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, wow,
This is
focus.
interesting.
Ooh.
How important is this?
Ikaw, GK, you first.
With this photo, I think very important na naiisa-isa natin siya. Like one thing at a time.
Tama.
I think the more na parang, sige ito, kaya pa to, gagawin pa to, idadagdag pa to, ganyan. Parang syempre mag-blur din, di ba? Kung ano talaga yung goal at ang tinatry mo i-achieve for these certain moments. I think focus actually just means being organized also in your tasks. Ayan, and kaya ito, di ba? Maraming mga kailangan gawin, no? Dulo ng buwan. Di ba? So I feel like important ang focus is yung goal. Di ba?
Yes.
Kung saan ang papupuntahan ng lahat ng tasks. That's for me.
Yes.
I agree
I
with
like that.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah, for me, it's like a crucial question is also asking yourself, what am I focusing on? Kasi may mga time wasters yan. You're spending your time wasting it on other things. What are the things that give me more value? I think at the end of the day, connected to that, like what's my goal? What is going to give me more value? And what do I need to spend time on more? You know, it's not just about work. It's about your role even outside work, how you want to spend your life, your days,
At home.
and at home, like being more intentional about it. And if it's a wrong focus, then you get actually more tired and you're like a headless chicken.
Yes.
Yeah, not knowing where you want to go.
Yes.
Just going with the environment. The environment's dictating
Akala mo,
to you.
dami mong nagawa pero wala.
Oo. And the environment is the one controlling you instead of you controlling the environment around
Yes.
you.
I think this is a struggle that most people have today because of our cell phones. Like ako, I admit, I struggle with this. Like in the morning, I just wanna have my quiet time. I want to read my Kindle and then a notification pops out and then all of a sudden, I'm in a different app. Tapos nawala na yung focus ko dun. So, you know how I help myself is that I have an app that keeps me focused. So, it's called Structured. So, when I click there, Focus Now, my screen goes parang oras na for that, may nagka-countdown siya. Na for this specific time, kunwari I'm homeschooling my kids. So, I put my phone on focus so it won't receive any notifications at that time that I'm doing it. And I was aware that I needed that to be able for me to really focus. Otherwise, or I leave my phone in a different room so that when I'm with my kids, I'm just totally present there, teaching them, and no one can contact me. Kasi once na nag-phone ako, nagtatrabaho, nagtuturo, nagpo-compute, nagtuturo. Alam mo yung ang dami ng pwedeng mangyari. So, it's all about time management and being aware and mindful na, oops, nagsastruggle ako dito. How can I help myself focus more? So, hanap ka rin ng paraan kung paano mo matutulungan yung sarili mo. You can delete an app. Alam mo yun, you can change your password or whatsoever. Ikaw nang bahalang dumiskarte, pero you have to be proactive in order to change that.
And coach, doesn't practices like that, no? Take discipline. Kailangan po ba? Nagtatanong kasi si Merch Costilla, paano po ba may increase ang discipline?
Ganda.
Because sa totoong buhay, mahirap naman talagang sabihin na, sige, gawin mo lang.
Yeah.
Diba? Just do
Yes.
it.
Yeah, that's a very good question. What's her name?
Merge Bustillia.
Merge.
Merge.
That's a very good question, Merge, because in the work that I do, it's not just about realizing it in coaching sessions. It's also about putting it in action, which is the hardest part. So one question you have to ask yourself is, how much do I want it? how much is it going to change my life? And if you want it so much, then you have to find ways to do it every day. And something that you can do to coach yourself is, let's say you want to work on more focus on the right things. We're talking about focus. At the end of the day, you can ask yourself, did I get to focus on this and that? So it's like a coaching question to yourself, to just check with yourself if you're able to do it. And as you check on yourself every day, you get better and better. So you can ask questions like, what did I do right? What can I do differently? What's missing? So it's about mastering it and integrating it into your life. What makes it so hard is if it's habits na nakasanayan mo na you want to change but you don't want to change it because you're so used to it. So you have to just get out of that. And the only way to do it is the discipline of every day. And being kind to yourself when you're not able to do it. Because sometimes you don't get to do it. And you are mad at yourself and frustrated. So being kind, okay lang on days that I don't get to do it.
Forgive yourself.
Yeah, forgive
Yes.
yourself.
But
Yeah.
also, wag mo ring, ako personally, as an experience, since we're talking about discipline, wag ka rin matakot na i-push yung sarili mo. Alam mo yun, it's, of course, we need to be kind to ourselves, but sometimes we use that as an excuse not to do things. Okay lang yan, may bukas pa. But you know, in reality, if you really want changes to happen in your life, you really have to commit to those things na kailangan mong gawin. So, and I think discipline goes a long way because once you use discipline in a certain aspect in your life, it trickles down to other aspects also in your life. And once you master that, you're unstoppable. No, it's actually one of the important keys to success.
Yeah, it is.
Discipline
Yeah.
talaga. Because you're going against your flesh.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going against the things around you, practices ng mga tao sa paligid mo, ginagawa ng barkada mo, ng mga kaibigan mo, kinokontra mo lahat yun. Just as simple as like for me, the discipline to sleep early. It's hard because there's Netflix, there's so much to watch on TV, you wanna sleep late, you don't have an excuse to sleep early kasi wala ka ng nanay na nagbabawal sa'yo.
Tulog na.
Diba? You have to have an accountability person wherein i-check ka niya na, uy, may goal tayo ha. Paano ka makakarating sa goal mo? How can I remind you to do certain things in order for you to reach your goal? And it's what I do with my kids. Like ngayon, Ice and Nathan, they're 16 and 20, and they have goals. So I asked them, do you have an accountability partner to make sure that you will reach your goal? Kasi kung ikaw lang yan, pwedeng goal mo yan this week. Pero next week, malilimutan mo na yung goal mo na yan. So you have to have someone check on you and remind you na how are you doing.
And actually, the way you're describing it, ganun yung coaching eh.
Ah!
Yeah, so a coach is an accountability partner, but a
Okay.
skilled one at that. So
At saka may ano kasi, structured.
may structure siya.
Yes.
So making sure talaga na you hit your goals. Kasi it's also paid sessions and everything, but both of you are accountable to the goal. So the
Right.
coach is accountable, the client is accountable, you achieve it together. And one thing I wanted to say about change is that if you do something over and over and you integrate it into your life, in 3 months, it's going to become a part of you.
Yes.
I've seen that
Yes.
pattern over the
Yes.
years. Like
You know, ang sabi nga nila, coach, do something regularly and consistently for 21 days.
Yes.
On the 22nd day, it's, yes.
And it's easier.
Yes.
But remember with change will always be difficult. In the beginning, parang like that person asked about disciplining yourself. It's hard in the beginning, but then you have to realize it's a phase na.
Yes.
Then you get used to it, becomes a part of you, and then
Yes.
okay na.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know, when you're so used to, kunwari, example, kumakain ka ng kanin, and you wanna train yourself to eat brown rice. So there's a shift. But then, iba ang texture ng brown rice sa white rice. So, kailangan mong tanggapin na yes, at matcha-challenge ka at may magbabago sa panglasa mo at kailangan mo lang gawin yun hanggang sa you have to train yourself to get used to it.
Outcome lang naman yan is a better you.
Yes. And that's commitment. Commitment is still continuing to do something you don't want to do.
Follow through.
Yeah.
And something that's gonna make you stay in the commitment, I think, is your goal. Why do I want to do this?
Yes.
The purpose of it. Diba?
Hindi
You
naman
can't just do it
nag-trip-trip
like
ka
that.
lang, di ba,
Yeah, I know.
coach? Hindi lang nag-trip-trip ka lang. Okay.
Saktong-sakto yung
Yes, I like her topic. It's so...
Motherhood, coaching, di ba? Nakaka-relate pala lahat. And sakto din for our last segment.
Yes, mommy camp. So as a mom, kamusta naman ang pag-balance ng career and momhood, Coach Anda? I think most moms out there now are really parang doing this. Work from home, stay-at-home moms, pero may on-the-side hustle. So how do you manage it? How do you balance
Yeah,
it?
that's a good question. So when I gave birth to my son 11 years ago, I had to define what kind of mom I wanted to be. and the time I wanted to spend with him also, given that I was working also. So I designed my career based on that. I gave actually a lot of time for my son, but also at work. So I defined the hours for myself. I think it's also not being too hard on yourself when, let's say you got busy, you didn't get to spend time with your son, but it's all good intention because you're trying to also make a living, right?
Yes.
And then I think also you talked about quality time, right? So giving quality time to your family, but also giving quality time also at work and finding that balance. So balance is different for everyone.
Yes.
So you have to be able to ask yourself, what balance am I looking for? And how do I want to be as a mom, right? So defining that. And once it's clear again, then that's going to be your anchor. So if there's some moms who just want to work most of the time, and maybe that's fine because that's what you need to do, and maybe the time you come home, that's the quality time you have with your kids, and that's also okay. So not being also affected by the standards of the world or the people around you, but just also going back to what we've been talking about in this segment, getting to really know yourself, what's important for you,
Yes,
and what's going to direct you in all your decisions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Paano naman po yung mga wala naman silang day job? Like, mainly moms talaga sila, stay-at-home wives and moms. May need po ba to find balance in that as well? Kasi meron tayong
That's a good question, GK.
meron tayong idiom, di ba, na ang pinakamahirap daw na trabaho, pinakamahirap na job is being a mom.
Yeah.
Kailangan ba na naghahanap tayo ng balance? Is there a need to do that?
Well, for me, even if you're at home, there still needs to be balance also, right? So maybe you're spending too much time on something, or spending time with your kids is good, but also asking yourself, like, what time do I need for myself, right? So being able to understand the different dimensions of you, and being able to fulfill that in different ways.
Yeah.
Ay, nakakapag-ice hockey pa si
Diba? And I think balance kasi, karamihan naman sa buhay natin, kailangan may balance talaga. If you do something that's too much or even too little, it's both harmful. So even as a mom, parang ganun din naman yung sistema. It's more of like knowing your priorities. Ano ba yung importante sa'yo? If you are able to define your priorities, then you can work your way around that. Like for me, my priority is first my family. Of course, it's my faith, it's God, and then it's my husband, and then it's my children, and then it's my work. So, hindi ko yun pwede i-jumble-jumble. Because the moment na i-jumble-jumble ko yun, magbabago din yung ways ko at magbabago din yung pakiramdam ko sa ginagawa ko. Yeah, so parang magkakagulo-gulo din. So once you define what your priorities are, you also work around your way kung ano din yung priorities mo. Like for me, since I'm a working mom and I also have a school, we're also leading a school, we're managing a school, and then I'm homeschooling. So parang pag inisip mo, parang I'm overwhelming myself with a lot of things na kaya ko pa ba? But it all boils down to time management. Tapos, take it easy also on yourself. Yung, kung hindi mo nagawa today, okay lang. Kasi yun naman talaga ang motherhood. Diba, it's always trying and doing your best. And most of the time, it will not come out the way you want it, but that's okay. Basta ang importante, ako for me, ang importante, masaya pamilya ko. We're in a good place. Regardless whether it's something na, kumbaga, I don't wanna pressure myself into kailangan overachiever ka or kailangan ganito ka. Kasi putting too much pressure on things, parang ang daming nasisira sa loob na hindi mo nare-realize. So, yun lang. Know your priorities because once you know your priorities, you will also find way to make sure na nagagampanan mo yung mga yun ng tama.
That takes time also, no?
Yes.
Balance na yan. Mahirap matagal at mahirap siya ma-achieve for some.
And sometimes you have to find your support system to make that balance happen. Let's say it could be in the form of the helpers in the house, or
Your
maybe
your
husband,
parents,
or grandparents,
Diba, the
or
grandparents,
friends or something,
they like taking care of their
Yeah.
apo, so that's something you can utilize as well to help you in your career growth. Because I know a lot of moms na ganun sila, stay-at-home moms, pero work from home. And that's hard. Kasi habang nagpapakananay ka, nagtatrabaho ka rin because you're in one place. And I found it very hard before during the pandemic nung pinanganak ang work from home. Kasi I'm taping. I remember I was taping online. And then I would like, uy, lunch break, lunch na pala. Anong kakainin ng mga anak ko? Habang nagtatrabaho ka, nagluluto ka rin. Eh sa totoong buhay, pag nasa trabaho ka lang. Wala ka sa bahay. Ito parang you're present in both areas. So, yun, medyo nakakabaliw talaga siya. But then again, utilize the people around you. Support system is really very, very important. No?
Yeah. Cam, before we end today, baka may last few words si
Yes.
Coach for the women, the moms, yung mga nag-aaral.
Or alam mo, Coach, ito na lang. Simple advice to those who are hindi pa nila mahanap kung ano yung gusto nilang gawin sa buhay nila. What advice will you give them in order for them to jumpstart na, example, Coach, bata na mag-aaral. Kasi ako, I have Nathan is grade 10.
Yeah.
And na-explore niya na kung ano yung track na yung gusto niyang kunin. So, tinatanong ko siya, anak, ano ba yung course na gusto mo? Sabi na, hindi pa masyadong malinaw sa kanya. Yun, Coach Anda. So, what advice can you share with them? Practical tips in order for them to really know ano ba yung direksyon na pupuntahan ng buhay nila, career-wise?
So, if it's not clear, in the beginning, like you said, the first thing you do is to explore different things that you're drawn to. So let's say you like people. Like, what is it about people? Because so many things you can do with that people skill. So for me, like, try to get exposure. You read on it. You talk to someone who's in the field. You maybe spend a few months observing or doing that kind of work, or volunteering even. So it's gonna help expose you. Like my 11-year-old son, that's what I'm doing with him right now. Because he's not so. You know, when you're 11, it's like. Shifting from different things, no? So I expose him to talagang extremely different things to help him see which one is really his
interest.
Strength. Yeah, his interest. And how do you know if it's a strength? You know if it's a strength if it's with your eyes closed, you enjoy doing it. There's something called flow. So if you feel like it's flowing, if it's easy for you,
Something you get excited about.
Something you're drawn to. That, and don't discount the little things, because yung mga little things, like I was sharing earlier, if you're organizing a travel or a trip, parang those little things are the things that indicate what your strengths are.
Okay.
And then have like a notebook or something where you can write that down and find your patterns, and then that's where you can start exploring that. And there's also a really good assessment that I ask my clients to take, that I've taken also before, which is called Clifton Strengths. So it's something that you can actually take online. It's really very interesting. It helps also know what your strengths are, what are you drawn to, who are you as a person. And actually, aside from that, there's many other assessments out there that can help you also. So daming ways to find out what that is for you. And then after that, remember to take action. Make that decision, take action, and think that you don't want to just be in a place where it's just stagnant, diba?
Yes.
Think about what is that going to look like 5 years from now if I'm in this kind of work. A lot of people will ask that question, say, I'm probably going to resign, or I'm probably going to be a grumpy person or angry if I'm still in my job. So yung mga, if you try to imagine doing your career like that for the next 5 years every day, will you be happy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question to ask yourself, no? Magiging masaya ba ako dito? So many takeaways from you, Coach Anda. Sobra kami, I'm so enlightened. Ang dami kong natutunan from you. To those who wants your services, saan ka ba nila pwedeng mahanap, Coach?
Oh, okay. I'm very active on LinkedIn. You can look for me. My name there is Anda del Rosario. And then I'm also on Facebook. So that's Coach Anda. And if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email at info@coachanda.com. And I also have a Spotify podcast. I actually haven't added to it yet, but a lot of people I talk to were famous writers or leadership coaches around the world. And it's called Leading Great Workplaces on Spotify. So I would love to help you as a leader in your team. I also do a bit of career coaching on the side because I'm also a certified career coach. But most of the work I do are with leaders and teams and organizations. And I love really working with people on that.
Oh, kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Coach kanina, mas difficult daw yung problema, mas gusto daw niyang i-solve, diba?
Yeah.
Sino ang taong ganon? Bihira lang ang taong
I
ganon.
love solving the difficult problems. I love working with also the difficult leaders. Because I feel like they're not difficult if you're able to get to their core.
Yes, if
and
you
find
really
out who they are,
understand
if you understand them.
Correct. Tama. Thank you, Coach Anda.
Thank
We
you
had a
so much.
wonderful
Thank
time
you
with
so
you
much.
this morning. And of course, to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. GK, salamat sa mga pasabog na mga questions mo today. I hope you all learned a thing or two when it comes to taking your career to the next level and also had a good time watching the episode. This was such a good one for us. And of course, hindi na ulit kami makahintay ng susunod na Thursday.
Next week ulit yan. If you again enjoyed what you watched today, samahan niyo lang po kami palagi sa Facebook, TikTok, at YouTube pages ni Camille.
Yeah.
Next natin ay Tuesday.
Yes. So see you again here on Real Camille. Happy lunch.